Welcome back. In today's episode, we continue our journey south, not far from Loreto, where we enjoy some bird wildlife at the beach and stumble upon a unique and unexpected slot canyon hike that turned out to be one of our favorite hikes in Baja. We are saying goodbye to Loreto, at least the central downtown area of Loreto. Today we are heading to one of the beaches. Maybe gonna hang out there for 1 or 2 nights before we head on to our next location. These are definitely the biggest mountains we've seen in Baja so far, and they seem to just like jut out of nowhere. So we are at the beach south of Loreto, and the pelicans have been diving into the water all morning, and it's just been fascinating to watch them. It's so cool. I'm not much of a bird person, but since we've been down in Baja, it's definitely made me appreciate the birds a little bit more. And I just gotta go over and check them out and get some B-roll of this because it looks pretty awesome. After spending a couple hours in Playa Juncalito, we affectionately called it the Bird Beach. After watching the pelicans dive for fish, we soon realized that they weren't the only species of bird getting in on the fishing. Hundreds of blue-footed boobies were diving as well. It was like watching a mesmerizing choreographed dance as they flew to the left, then to the right, back to the left, up and down to find the perfect location to dive into the water. As they dove by the hundreds, they stretched their necks long and tucked their wings back to make themselves like torpedoes into the water. I'm hoping by tomorrow the waves will die down a little bit because it looks like over by the rocky cliff behind me that it's actually really going to be really good for snorkeling.
So one of the things that we picked up on when we've been staying at all these beaches in Baja is that most of them have a really old, rugged dirt road going through them. And I'm pretty sure that that's the actual road before the main road was installed a handful of years ago. I think it was 10 years ago, because it wasn't always fully paved from top to bottom in Baja, and a lot of the roads and offshoots still are not paved. So anyway, they make great opportunities to walk on the seashore and check things out and get from bay to bay, and sometimes you find some cool camping spots, and sometimes you just find cool things to look at. So we're walking up the road and we're going to a crystal clear bay where all the sailboats like to park, and we're gonna go see what that's all about.
So we found this bay because we're not going to be able to sup or snorkel today. So Wiley popped up the drone and he was flying, and I was also looking at Google Maps, and we found this like really sweet enclosed bay that it looks like it's really popular with all the sailors because it's completely protected.
Guys, check this out. Bam.
So my quest for calm water to swim in or snorkel in has ended. It's a little too low here. I think I'd just end up sinking in this mush where the mangroves are. So our search will continue.
I mean, as we're walking back down to our humble abode, look at this. Waves, big mountains. Not too shabby.
So the beach that we are staying at is still a little rough today, so I don't think we're gonna get out and paddleboard or go snorkeling. Instead, we found a canyon trail, and we're gonna see how far we can go in the van. It did say that it requires some 4x4 to get through certain sections, so we're just gonna drive the van kind of as far as we can down and then hike the rest. And it might be a bit of an adventure. We do have stuff if we get stuck. Hopefully we won't.
So we are driving in the wash. We are working our way back to a canyon, so I think we're in the exit of the canyon for the water.
So far the terrain is just like pebbly, rocky.
Yeah, pretty reasonable, nothing crazy. It's a gravel bottomed wash for sure. No sand yet, no big rocks or obstacles, so far so good.
We're starting to slide a bit.
I probably just need a tad bit more momentum, and it's gonna be bumpy.
Okay.
Because I'm hitting that rock and it's kind of like stopping me.
That one right there.
Yeah. So I was trying to go to the left of it a little bit. Be too mean to the van.
Send it. So Wiley's just checking it out. This spot looks a little rough, so I don't know if we're gonna take the van or park it here and hike the rest. What's the verdict?
Can we make it? Yeah. Are we pushing our luck? Yeah. Because if I get into a situation where I can't go like forwards or backwards, because it's like rocky turny, like you have to maneuver a little bit. I just don't want to be that guy.
That's fair.
My Maisha cakes. We'll be back in a bit. All right, so after a 40-minute drive down basically a wash, we got probably 70% on our way to the hike. We just parked the van. Maisha's inside. She's gonna be sitting this one out.
So if you start at the bridge, it's a 10-mile hike out and back. But if you have a vehicle that can get you to where the canyon starts, it's a lot shorter hike. So we think we got probably 3 miles in, maybe have about 2 more miles.
So before we parked, I got out of the van, walked up here, and made the executive decision that I'm not gonna roll any farther forward because I don't want to turn this into a fiasco. This is the part right here. Not insane, you know, there's obviously lots of rocks on both sides, but this big rock in the middle, yeah, I can clear that. Then I go up here and I got these 2 big rocks on my left that I just imagine would be pretty bumpy going over, and then if I got caught in between them or anything like that, then the Mercedes isn't happy, and it's not an off-road crawler, let's be honest. So we parked it and we're walking the rest. There it is. Check this out.
So we turned left, took a trail. We're going away from the canyon. Maybe it'll end us up at the end of the canyon.
So we're a little bit into the trail. I saw an opportunity to walk off trail and get a little bit of a view. There's the canyon, and just surrounded by mountains.
The entire day before, when we were at Juncalito, I couldn't help but keep staring at the mountains behind us. So I did what most hikers would do and searched my All Trails app to see if any hiking trails were back there. And to my delightful surprise, I read that there was a slot canyon filled with crisp, fresh mountain water that might require some swimming to hike through. So we had to go check it out. You could make it an out and back hike, through the canyon, but we preferred to make it into a loop, which allowed us to hike on the rim and be able to look into the canyon before we dropped down into it. And the only thing was, once we got to the mouth of the canyon, of course my app didn't work, so we had to guess a little bit where the start of the rim trail was. Sometimes it looked like it was a trail, and sometimes it just looked like it was a herd cow path, but eventually we found the trail.
It's a little crispy. Gets your attention. Decision-making time.
We have an hour and a half to get back to the car to get to the gate that locks at 4 o'clock. So we just talked to a woman that was at the end of the rim trail section, and she said she did this in January, and that the only tricky part is literally at the mouth of the canyon.
That's where we were before we started the rim trail.
So I think we're gonna go for it.
Worst that can happen is we got to come all the way back up and hike the rim trail down, and we've got time.
And then we spend the night here.
Sometimes right down the middle is the safest path.
For me at least, because I'm always klutzy and don't want to get the bag wet. So,
Sure.
so far not too deep.
Ooh, that's up to the nuggies.
How do you get over there without getting the book bag wet? Because that's steep. And that, oh my god. Look at the size of that bug. That's the biggest water bug I have ever seen. It's like that big.
Is this a shirt on or shirt off moment? We're about to find out.
Just pull it up. I think you're good. So waist deep.
What is going on here?
When I walked over here, it got warmer, and this is like lukewarm, so it must be thermal. It must be coming from the ground.
Literally coming out through a crack.
And it's got a lot of minerals in it, because look at all of that. Is this real life? Because I don't think it gets any more magical than this. He's being a good sport, seeing how he's got to go waist deep and it's cold water, and this guy hates cold water.
Finally got some sun. It's a little chilly. Not unbearable, but a little chilly. Might just have to stand here for a second, warm up. Starting to approach the shiver zone. We've opened up to quite a bit wider in this particular section. Still water. It's going through the whole entire thing. Haven't found anything yet that's more than waist deep. But the first little pool could prove us wrong. We'll see. Right when we got to the entrance and started going up the rim trail, it looked like it could be a little bit deeper.
I'm gonna find that frog.
Getting closer to the mouth of the canyon from what it seems. So we came from there. And this is where it goes. So we just gotta figure out how to get there. So we made a decision. Hopefully it's the right one. Where Dre is standing is the high road. That's what I think we need to take, because if I come down here and show you where we need to go, here's the problem. Once you get to this boulder, you got to get down there. That's a full commit. That's deep water. So that's a little bit of a swim. And neither one of us are afraid of swimming, but I got a backpack with cell phones and cameras in it that can't get wet. So we're going up there. So I took the high road, which is probably not the safest thing in the world. I had to go across that section right there, which is a little shaly, very rocky. Dre's taking the adventure water route. She's gonna shimmy down the water slide, I'm gonna call it, go into that deep water and then hopefully come out the other side. safe and sound. She didn't feel comfortable scaling this wall. I don't blame her. It's super high consequence and probably not worth the tumble. Luckily the rock has good traction, but I do have to show you something. It is shale and you can't grab it for stability because you can break it right off. And there she is. She made it. How'd it go?
So Wiley's coming down the high route. I felt a lot better going down that waterfall. It was a little sketchy at times, but I just kind of slid down on my butt to get there. And he usually feels better with the climbing versus the water.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Dry cameras.
So far.
One obstacle to go.
One more obstacle and a little bit of a swim. We need to get from here down to there.
All right, last obstacle of the day. Technically, you might be able to just slide your butt down right there into this water. Looks a little more than waist deep, but we figured out if we shimmy down this rock, there's a little platform for your foot right there. One large step out, you're gonna splashy. I'm coming over. See if I can shimmy down here. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm basically dry right now, so this kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Whew. And is this the glacial swim? We're swimming?
Oh, yeah. You know what? You might be able to pop up there though.
Okay.
Again, this guy is going around. We don't want the electronics getting wet.
Last, and I mean last, obstacle in this canyon run.
It's gonna be over my head.
It sure looks like it.
It's nice and refreshing. I can't stand here.
Can't touch the bottom?
No, so it would have been really hard to like keep the book bag above our head.
Yeah.
See if I can touch now. No, still can't touch. Right here. Yeah, so that was better.
Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the exit. Made it!
Probably one of my favorite hikes in a while.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Only if you're like me. I told you it wasn't that deep.
I know, but I just didn't want to go in the deep end. And that's a wrap. We made it.
Thank you guys so much for following along on today's episode. This hike was way more epic than I thought it was going to be, and I can't stop smiling. I had so much fun on this hike. Thanks again. See you guys next time.